So, going back to the terrain, the little issue with the applying the erosion, if we flatten the borders or not, when we decide that we want to apply the erosion needs to be updated whenever we make a change around here. Okay, and we'll set that as not a manual option. Whenever we do a change, we will need to press this button. If we have the apply erosion on, then we should see the options associated with this node, the erosion node. Okay, otherwise it won't update properly. Now we'll do that. We'll create parameters for each section. Actually, let's go here to type properties, parameters, and let's create a folder for, it's going to be called erosion, and here erosion controls. This erosion controls, we're going to be grabbing the parameters from nodes from inside. Let's look for the erode, height field erode. Here it is. And on the height field erode, let's go in, which is this one. We'll want to expose the main, the advanced, and the reset simulation button. So I'll just drag the reset simulation button here. And as for the other menus, we'll just grab these two menus and paste them inside as well. Pretty fast to do. Now, regarding the scattering, we'll want to do the same thing. So let's go to the by type, create another folder called scatter. And we'll just go to the scatter node here, and we'll grab pretty much everything from here. So we'll go to from nodes, go to height field scatter, and let's see, scattering, variability, relaxation. I think we want everything from that point. Okay, everything from here to here. Put it on scatter. Finally, regarding the flattened borders, we'll also have a few options. Let's create another folder. This folder can be tab, sounds good. Let's put it here. And let's say flat borders or borders. Folder name borders. We can change it if we want later. I'll just actually remove this. What I'm going to do is create an ordered menu so that we can choose between using the input 0, which is the automatic version, or the input 1, which is using the curve that's going to be getting into the third input of our HDA. So let's look for the order menu. And the way the order menu works, let's call it mask source. And let's say that on the menu, we'll say that 0, the label for 0 is going to be automatic. And we'll have a token for 1 called in curve. Let's apply this. And we'll connect here this mask source, copy parameter, and we'll connect it to this base relative reference. Okay, so we have our borders. If we're flattening the borders, we'll have the option of using a mask source automatic or in curve. Yeah, we could even hide these menus based on what's on and what's off if you want. It would be the same process as before. So let's say we want to hide the border options here. Let's go with the curly brackets whenever the flat borders parameter control V is equal to 0. Apply. So if this is turned off, then that menu is going to disappear. It's the first menu and it's making all the others disappear. Tab hide. Yeah, I was putting it on the wrong place. So here, let's go Control X, tab hide, Control V. And here we'll do the same thing, Control V, but here is apply erosion. Apply erosion. So this will be on. Let me apply. So now it works. So we can see the borders options only come in, and the erosion option only comes in when this is turned on. And we can do the same thing for the scatter. Why not? Let's go to here, Control C, and on the scatter, we'll do Control V based on scatter trees. Apply, accept. And this is pretty much all the control that we needed. Let's start with the default. We can also change the defaults, but for now the defaults will be these. So if we decide to flatten the borders, everything's fine. We'll have these two options. As you can see now, this is the automatic result, the sphere, and we can change to the in curve, and that's going to take into account this third input. If we, by any chance, if we do not provide it, then it's going to error out saying that we need the in curve, but if we change to automatic, then everything's going to be fine. Regarding the erosion, we can choose apply the erosion. These will pop up. And if we want to apply the erosion, in that case, we really need to reset the simulation based on the what's coming first. So the flattened borders, we need to reset the simulation there. And that's going to update based on the flattened borders option. And finally, the scatter trees, where we can control how many trees we're going to be scattering, and we could even bring out the proxy and have a fourth input where we would actually adjust this to the these seem to be very dense. Let's make sure that everything is okay. Let's go to scatter trees. Yeah, this seems to be wrong. So the outer radius shouldn't be 0. But the problem with this is that the outer radius was set automatically. Let's put it back to 6 or 5. Okay. And we can, just to show you that it would be really easy. So let's cut this out, bring this outside. So this would be the tree proxy. We could come here to the type properties of our HDA and add an extra input optional, apply, accept, and now we can provide this here. And we could, from outside, actually reference that. So the outer radius, let's say, let's recover what we had before. So we want to copy this parameter, paste relative reference, and here on the control, on the control scale, copy parameter, and here on the outer radius, we would put times base relative reference. Oh yeah, it's the maximum width actually. Copy parameter, and here we want the base relative references. My bad. Okay, so now it's okay. It's the maximum radius. I was referencing the wrong channel, and here copy parameter times base relative reference, and this is going to give us exactly what we had before. We can now grab the fourth input and put it there. So we have our terrain and we should have our trees. Okay, height field, trees. If we disconnect this, we're just going to get the points. One final thing that it's very important for this is we really need to expose, and that's the last thing. So allow editing of contents, and we'll go to type properties, and there's one more thing that we really need to expose, which is probably the most important parameter you can have on a height field, and that's the resolution. Okay, so here on the height field, the grid spacing, we need to put it somewhere here, probably even before everything else. Let's go here to, let's create a separator, make sure that this is on a really visible and obvious position, and let's just grab this and put it there. So the grid spacing is, again, apply, accept. It's very important for us to have that exposed. It's going to influence everything that's happening from that point below, and we can even test it out and have a look at how our terrain looks with a grid spacing of 2 meters, for instance. Let's go up. So this is what we have. Let me just disable this for a moment. Flatten borders, that's fine. Let's use the curve, which is a better selection. And let's have a look at how much more detail we can get with a grid spacing of 2. It's going to take a while, but yeah, we get a lot more detail to this. Remember that if you change something before that might affect the erosion, you need to re-update the erosion. Right now we're not applying erosion yet, but if we decide we want to apply erosion, notice that we're kind of getting rid of what we had before. We need to go to the erosion and reset the simulation. Since we're only going all the way up to frame 8, that's something that's also not being exposed. One more thing we need to add. We should expose the frame that we're actually considering for the erosion. So I'm going to interrupt this. I'll switch to manual just so it doesn't automatically try to run the whole thing again. And here on the erode, let's grab this information, all these parameters. Let me go to type properties, and we go get it from nodes. And here, right after the reset simulation button, we should have height field erode. And we should have the reset, freeze, and freeze at frame. Okay, these three, the reset simulation is already there, but this isn't. Right here. Freeze, do the freeze and freeze at a certain frame. Apply, accept, and now on the erosion we will have that option available. So now let's go back to our update. Okay, it took a while. It took almost a minute to apply the erosion to this, but definitely, so without the erosion and with the erosion, so we're still preserving most of the detail, but now we have that nice those nice layers of information that we can use for texturing this. Okay, a lot of nice information, really beautiful shapes here. And we can scatter the trees, same thing, and as we saw before, so we can look at our trees. Okay, and this wraps it up, the second chapter of this tutorial. And next we're going to be seeing how we can convert a height field into actual geometry with baked maps and everything. So see you on the next chapter.